music.
Party's not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Greetings, citizens of Gotham. It's the last time I'm going to say that. And welcome to Bat Minute Returns, the show that I should hope you're familiar with by this point. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
I'm about to have to hold you that next season now. It's like you can never start an episode by saying "Greetings, citizens of Gotham."
Yeah, well, this season, not forever. It's coming back, baby.
Oh, not forever, eh?
Oh, not forever or forever.
Yeah. No, it's coming right up, right around. It's hard to believe. It's just like back at the start of this project. This is like, it's going to be ages before we get to those. And now it's like it's the next movie. It's like, we're going to be deeply ensconced in Joel Schumacher land in next to no time.
We're leaving Burton behind.
Yeah.
I mean, technically we're still in a Burton movie now, but do the credits count?
Yeah. I mean, as I say, like we got some hiatus stuff worked up. We're not completely done with him just
We're done with Burton Bat.
Burton Bat, yeah, that is technically true, yeah. Unless they do come out and we're like, we're doing an animated movie. it's like, I remember, I think Marvel. Oh, by the way, I'm Niall McGowan because I didn't introduce myself in case people want to know.
In case they've forgotten who you are after all these minutes.
But I don't know, did you see the thing last week where Marvel Comics did this big countdown, and it started with like a spider web with 4 in it, and everybody immediately assumed and got very excited by the idea that it was like, it's gonna be a comic book adaptation of the Spider-Man 4 script. That's gonna be brilliant. And then it finally got down to it, and it was like, no, J.J. Abrams' son is writing a Spider-Man storyline. I was like, who gives a crap about that? Like, why did that warrant a countdown?
I'm going to say 2 things. One, I love the fact that I think it coincided with Spider-Man Minute coming back. So Scott was saying, thanks for the promotion.
Yeah.
But also, maybe I'm naive, maybe I'm stupid, maybe I don't know. Is his son a writer? What qualifies him to write Spider-Man?
I think it does strike me as a bit of nepotism, where he's just like, hey, JJ. Well, it's kind of weird, though, because JJ now apparently has been courted to come over to DC. Like, the rumor mill this morning, as of recording, is that JJ Abrams is going to be taking over the DC EU, because I guess he's done with Disney and Star Wars, and much like DC's been doing thus far, they're like, let's just pinch things from Disney that worked already. Like, we got Josh Whedon doing our Justice League for us after he did Avengers. We got friggin' James Gunn coming over to take over Suicide Squad. Yeah. Why not just like, that guy who made that Star Wars movie that everybody liked.
Get him to come over. As good as they are, the rest of the framework needs to be solid. You can't just put a great director in and not think about anything else.
One of the things as well is like, again, this was as of recording this morning. It was allegedly Daisy Ridley is being considered for Batgirl.
Okay, I could see that. I would like that.
I know it's kind of weird because it's like I just can't picture her not with a big posh English accent. So even now she comes in, it's just like, yes, I'm Barbara Gordon. It's gonna be like, oh my god, because they obviously had conversations behind the scenes in Star Wars where it's like, one of you two, you and John Boyega, both of you can't be English in this because it's an American movie, so one of you's got to be American. And you can only assume that it was John Boyega because he did a good American accent.
True.
So maybe it could be like, Daisy Ridley can't do an American accent. So
well, they could just explain it away. Say, she's been away in England studying or something. She's been at boarding school in England.
You just try to turn it back into like just the origin from Batman and Robin. It's like, no, it's not Barbara Gordon. It's Alfred's niece.
Yeah, it's Alfred's niece. Exactly. We all know it's Alfred's niece, goddammit.
But I was really hoping you're going to say there, like, you can just get someone to dub her. It's like, oh yeah, Daisy Ridley's like Arnie in that Hercules movie or something.
The best is when you watch the version of that Hercules movie where they haven't dubbed him, because he recorded all the lines, and you can get that version.
Oh yeah.
It's fantastic because he can't even say Hercules. He's like Hercules. It's just amazing, and they did that on How Did This Get Made, like a compilation of all the times he says it. Hercules.
Yeah. I have to say, the testament to Arnie for, well, it's been in America, what, like 40, 45 years now? That accent standing strong. Like, it's like much like everything else, that man, you can't knock it down. Like,
nope.
You physically can't take him down. You can't take that. That accent is going to be as thick as the day he arrived until the day he dies.
On his deathbed, his last words will be something just like a really, really like southern, like American twang.
Get me a hot dog.
He'll give a yeehaw for the road.
Well, here's how you make this Daisy Ridley Batgirl thing really work: is that you dub her with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then just like people will come to be like, I have to see this. Like, what are they doing?
Or can I just have Arnold Schwarzenegger as Batgirl?
So I spent a lot of time with Alicia Silverstone in the other movie, so I feel I understand the part.
And it could be, you could explain it like his character in Junior tries to explain when he dresses up as a woman and goes to that like retreat, saying that they were like a Russian athlete who was pumped full of steroids. That's why they look the way they do.
I just really love though if it was in continuity and everything to the other movies. So it's like, it's Jeremy Irons Alfred, and it's just like, oh yes, Master Bruce, my niece is visiting, and it's like, hello, Uncle Alfred. This is because you imagine Jeremy Irons having to act opposite that performance. It's just been him like, what? Am I this desperate for money? Why have I signed up for this?
Yes.
That's the real tragedy. Like, no one's talking about that. Everyone's like, oh, it's a shame that Batfleck's gone. I guess that's the last of the Jeremy Irons Alfred we've seen. He was great. So it's like, oh yeah, like now I'm going to genuinely really miss him.
I did quite like him. I don't think there's been a bad Alfred.
No, I don't think there has been a bad Alfred.
Even in Gotham.
yeah. There's John Pertwee's kid, Sean Pertwee, yeah. Although we haven't seen the Pennyworth show yet, so that could be a bad Alfred.
Yeah, I'm reserving my judgment. I'm hoping for the best, but I'm not enthused at present.
No. Early word of mouth is that it's quite good, but then could be being perpetuated by, people not really with the best intentions at heart.
Yes.
Although I have been quite intrigued by that trailer, in that one Paloma Faith's in it, which is like, what the hell?
I like her, and she can act. She was an actress for a while before.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, my main memory of Paloma Faith now is when my niece was growing up. There's a thing that's still on the kids' stations that's a bit like Jack and Nori, where like it's not Into the Night Garden, but it's something like at the night time or something like that.
Yeah,
and it's just again, they get celebrities to come in and read stories to kids, or it's little puppets that are supposed to be kid puppets. And Paloma Faith was on one time, and it was weird because she was so enthusiastic and endeared you to her, but she was like, "Oh yeah, kids, I'm gonna read a story," and then she was just like, "The teddy bear came up," and it was just like, "Oh my god, she can like." It's like watching. Read. It's like a kid at school been forced to read out like in front of the class kind of thing.
Or even worse, when a kid volunteers to read the passage, and it's the one kid who can barely read. So why have you volunteered? We just want to get this over with. Nobody wants to be paying attention.
But if Paloma Faith, if she does it like that, then we'll see. But it's also by the fact that the guy doing Alfred is very blatantly doing a Michael Caine impression.
Oh,
like the trailer is just like, all right, Governor, it's me. I'm Alfred Pennyworth, and I'm joining MI5, and I'm going to take down all the pre-Batman villains. And again, that already kind of sold me. It's like, holy crap, he's leaning into it. He's leaning into it so much. Like maybe it's the guy's actual voice. I don't know, but it was just so like, all right, I'm playing young Alfred. The only Alfred I've ever seen is Michael Caine. So
there are no others.
It would have been great though if he was doing the Michael Gough version, and you see like throughout the show, his eyebrows get more and more teased up and pronounced and stuff.
That'll be his. Even as a young man, yeah, he just gets the eyebrows immediately. Yes, this is what I want.
There's one bit where he's just like, someone go get me a cup of soup, will you, for lunch? And then someone comes and he's like, what the hell? This is cold. And then, like, his boss is like, it's vichyssoise, Mr. Pennyworth. Like, well, what do you mean? It's supposed to be cold. Oh, I'll never need to know that information.
That'd be great. He takes a slurp of it. He's like, oh my God, you're onto something.
I'll definitely have to, if I ever have a ward, I'll be definitely serving this to him for the first time when he's about 38 years old.
It's one of my ambitions in life to have a ward.
Oh, you better get started, John. They're very expensive.
Oh, I understand. But it's solely so I can go, my ward. Which is probably only going to make sense to two people.
Yeah, I was just trying to remember the rest, like the rest of that line. Like, make with haste and you will be commanded, sir. My lord, and who might it be said is your intended, sir? My ward. I think we had a good harmony going there.
That was pretty decent. Yeah.
I was like, next season, this is like me and you doing the theme tune, but it's just us doing
Kiss from a Rose.
But just as an Alan Rickman voice as well. I compare you to a kiss from a rose.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
Yeah. We haven't started this minute yet.
Oh God, we're like 10 minutes in. Yes, this is minute 125. The minute starts with the wrestler Rikishi Fatu, and it ends with somebody of much less renown. Somebody who did not do it for The Rock. So yes, it's Rick Ruskus. I can't even pronounce this now. Rick Ruskuski. Mm-hmm. It's not really Rikishi. Sorry, guys, I joked. I'm a japester, a prankster. I had you on.
Yeah. So everyone was sitting there like, what? He did it. But texting their friends that information already.
But, oh, sorry. Rick here, he is another miniatures dude who worked on Terminator 2.
Yeah.
But he also, I thought this might intrigue you, he worked on Tremors.
Oh, nice.
Another one with some good little... That sounded condescending, some good little miniatures. I didn't mean it condescending.
It's just like getting like Rick ringing us up now, like, hey, listen, asshole. They might have been miniature, but they weren't little, okay?
Oh, they're good little miniatures, aren't they? Oh. Bless.
Yeah, they're good. There's a couple of, I took note in a couple of names popped up here. Because we had then, executive in charge of production, Christina Demkowicz. Sorry, Christina, if you're listening, for butchering your name there.
I'm not looking at it at the minute, but I'm going to guess Demkowicz?
Yeah, probably. She did a couple of things of note, most notably for our interests, Catwoman. She worked on that as well, so... probably came swaggering and was like, I know all about this character. Let me tell you, what you need in this movie is a bit where you think she's dead and then cats magically bring her back to life.
To be fair, that's one of the few bits I remember being okay. But just because it's like, oh, this is vaguely familiar, I suppose.
Yeah, it's like it's a thing I recognize, so therefore it must be good.
Well, it's better than everything that comes after it.
But she also worked on good load of stuff. But favorites that jumped out to me were Zodiac.
Oh.
And The Real McCoy, which stars Kim Basinger and Val Kilmer.
My God.
So there we go. We actually had Kimmy B was working with Val. Future, our after this, our Batman for the next year, I guess. Val Kilmer.
Not my Batman.
Not my. Because every episode you have to come in with a sign saying "Not my Batman."
I'm gonna make that one of the hashtags when we post on Instagram.
But that's the thing, like, find out then the Val Kilmer is actually, people are doing a minute-by-minute analysis of my show, or my movie. And then the first thing he sees is hashtag not my Batman.
Oh, no, I couldn't even do it as a joke, because, we do kid around that it's not our favourite, but we are quite positive on the movie.
Yeah.
And I like Val Kilmer. I just don't particularly like him in that.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's his fault either.
Oh, we do have people chomping at the bit to get to their defense of Val Kilmer next year. We've had guests on this year talking on the show, bits I've had to cut out in editing. So it's like, nope, save it. But we have very positive Val Kilmer defenders coming up. So if you are out there listening and you yourself are a Val Kilmer defender, don't worry, your side will be heard as well.
Yeah, and we're not going to be nasty. We're not going to rip the movie apart. We quite enjoy it. And Val does some good stuff in it. I'm still torn whether I like him more than Clooney.
I just kind of want, like, the first time we see him now in the next movie, just be like, look at this prick. Who does he think he is? Swaggering up out here, acting like he's Batman.
No, we can't. He seems like, I say this, I don't know him. He seems like a nice guy.
Oh, well, actually, from a lot of things I've heard about Val Kilmer, at least in the mid-90s, he was not a nice guy. But
the mid-90s. I meant more recently.
We'll get to all that next season.
We will. I don't want to delve into the past yet. That's got to be saved, because that's going to be a lot of our research.
You delve into the past in the future.
Oh my god.
But
then that just complicates the timeline.
But
is it future or is it past?
We do have then camera operator Wade Childress. But the name instantly popped out to me because I remember that and spoilers for the first season of True Detective, but like the killer at the end of that was a guy called Errol Childress, and it was always such an unusual name to me that it just stuck in my head. So I was like, I wonder if he's anything to that fictional character that doesn't exist. But Wade Childress worked on acclaimed things as Howard the Duck.
Ooh.
And American Werewolf in Paris.
Ooh.
So, yeah. I did notice I was out and about earlier in town, or in the Liverpool city centre, for people who don't know what I mean when I say I was in town. I've noticed they've re-released in a very big way, the very first issue of Howard the Duck, like from way back in like the 60s. It's all over the shelves. It's like, oh crap, they're like really... Because there was a Howard the Duck comic that was going for a long time.
Yeah.
I guess like maybe that's reached the end of its run, and they're just like, yep, we're bringing them back. And we're just starting right from the beginning by reprinting the old one.
You know what that means, though? Just when they're about to release a movie about a character, or put a character in a movie, just before, all of a sudden, there seems to be a surge of comics featuring said character, as if to lay the groundwork for their resurrection on the screen. So I think we've got some Howard the Duck content on the way.
Oh, we definitely... Well, that was the thing. We definitely did, because I know Kevin Smith was brought in to write for us. And I think it was an animated series they were doing that was in canon to, like, the Marvel universe. Like, it was going to be, this is part of the films and stuff. So I guess it would have been Seth Green doing Howard the Duck.
See, I think that would work. I'd be up for watching that.
Yeah, no, I think it definitely would be. But in recent times with Kevin Smith, too, I'll have to double check, but... he's talking about other projects he's worked on, and he hasn't mentioned Howard the Duck, so I don't know maybe if it's just fallen by the wayside or whatever, but it just seems like it was a thing like a month or two back, but I did also notice, too, the people, again, spoilers for the end of Avengers Endgame, but if you haven't seen it by now, I guess you just don't care enough, basically.
It would be pretty insane if you've not seen it. I mean, it took me a month to watch it, and that was ridiculous.
Yeah, but there's a bit at the end where there's loads and loads of characters show up. And apparently people have, even before its digital release, people in the cinema have been eagle-eyed enough to spot and screen cap and like pirate copies that Howard the Duck is in there.
Oh,
so he's actually flapping about, helping to take on the forces of, spoiler for the end of the movie, they're fighting Thanos again.
What?
I was like, who would have thought the main villain from the last one would return in this next movie?
Oh my god, I thought he just left.
Yeah, so it's like, we'll get back to... That's the way we did this. Like, we hinted at him for years. You have him in one movie, you'll defeat him again in like 18 movies time. Like, that's the way Marvel rolls.
Yeah.
But anywho, who else do we have going on here?
You go ahead.
Oh, no, you can go right ahead.
Well, I don't know if this is in order or not, because I don't have it up on the screen at the moment, for once ever. I have a note that I particularly liked this credit. Digital Bats and Batmobile Shields by Video Image.
Oh, yeah.
So I tried to find info on this company, but that is the most generic name on the planet. So it was very hard to find. You put Video Image into Google, or Video Image Digital Company, or any kind of phrases like that.
Yeah, that is literally I have a note that just says Video Image - terrible name. So-
It's awful. Like, maybe back then that was cool and hip and new, but now you couldn't call yourself that. You'd be unsearchable.
Yeah, this is like maybe back when we were the only game in town. Who would have thought someone else would come up with a rival company?
It's interesting though. It mentions that the digital bats, because we brought that up earlier in the movie, and I didn't think they'd even really mention it. I thought it would just come under digital effects in general.
Yeah. I guess they must have had to like our digital guys aren't good enough. We have to go out to the only friggin' horse in town. Video Image.
Of course. It sounds like somewhere you'd go and rent tapes from, doesn't it? I'm just going to go down Video Image and see what they've got. Red Heat. Yes.
Right, got the future Batman villain. Ironic enough, Mr. Freeze in Red Heat as well.
Yeah. Everything's connected.
It's too bloody hot out here. Going into an Arnie impression and having him say something was too bloody anything. I was like, Arnie wouldn't say that.
I don't know, a lot. Actually, no. I was going to say a lot of Germans and Austrians would probably learn English from an English person. So they might say something like that. But come to think of it, no, Arnold did not. Because he moved to America knowing next to no English. Hence, Hercules.
Yeah.
Which, well, that's not an English name, but you know what I mean. Hence the whole movie.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that really struck me in his autobiography was he's just a guy who says he's going to do something and does it. He's like, I'm going to be the best bodybuilder in the world. He just did it. And then he's like, well, before that, I'm going to move to America. Even though I don't speak any English. Yeah, he did it. I'm going to be a millionaire. He did it.
Yeah.
And then, after becoming a millionaire, I'm going to become the biggest actor in the world. And he did it.
That's one of those things, like, you're just, because he seems, in interviews, Arnie's like a nice guy, but I do wonder if there is a Bill, like, you have to be a bit of a sociopath to be, like, that determined. Like, I don't think you don't get that high that consistently without having, like, a ruthless streak. Because I'd imagine, even you see, like, Pumping Iron.
Oh, I was going to mention that,
Yeah, he spends the whole time psyching out, what's his name? Like, the Incredible Hulk.
Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah.
And Arnie claims it's like, oh, well, it's kind of for show, for the cameras. I don't know if it is.
I think it definitely, I think he picked up that this guy was easily shaken. And that he's like, yeah, if I just keep saying these things, I'm going to get in his head. And I'm going to intimidate him by... And that's how you get to the top. It's like, he's not doing anything illegal. All he's doing is talking to the guy. And
it works, because, I mean, most people seem to think that at the time, Lou had a better physique. So he really should have won. But at the same time, I mean, there's more to it than just, your body's good. It's kind of like the charisma, isn't it, on stage? You need, like, a presence while you're doing it. So I guess the mental work affects that as well.
That's all stuff we should be saving for, like, when we get to Arnold Schwarzenegger stuff.
Yes, Pumping Iron Minute.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that'd be great.
I think around this time as well, we should mention that it's within the midpoint of this minute that we actually get, we've gone into the Catwoman theme again, and then it ends. It goes into Face to Face, and so that's the last we are ever gonna hear of the Danny Elfman Batman music, because we're gonna go into a different theme next movie. So thanks for your work again, Danny.
Thank you very much. You've given us a lot of joy.
Absolutely terrific stuff, even in his final throws. It's kind of weird to think that, like, the last bit of music he did for a Batman movie wasn't even the Batman theme. He didn't go back to, like, you have to end on the Batman thing. He's like, nope, just goes into Selina's theme and then just fades into Face to Face. So it's yeah. But did absolutely terrific job. We have sung his praises enough. Danny knows he's loved around these parts.
Yeah, we love you, man. I've got a tear in my eye. I'm gonna pour one out.
But then one of the other credits that popped up, which really took me, was we have Circus Train, which was done by Barris Custom Industries. And the thing that struck me about it, it has a K. And I looked into this company. And apparently it's a big deal company.
Oh, right.
But they started by, according to their website, the famous George Barris. And the thing is, it's a very tacky website. Like, it's really... The guy did do impressive stuff, but it's a bit like there's an entire page that's just called Celebs. And it's him with pictures of him and Stallone, and pictures of him with all these other celebrities. And it's like, if you're a big deal, you don't need to show, like, plaster pictures of yourself with celebrities on your own website. Like, you have a little more class than that. So it just struck me as a bit like, this guy was a big deal, and now he still wants to be like, hey, no, I'm still big. But yeah, he did. The thing is, though, he's obsessed with the letter K for some reason. It doesn't seem to be in his name. But it's like, yeah, he's got, like, George Barris, the king of customs. So with customs with a K again. And they make things like, he made the Munsters coach, but he spelled coach with a K, and it's that Munsters.
Why?
The car, but it's the car from the Munsters, like the one you would have seen. And he also made the Adam West Batmobile. So I think that's his big claim to fame. It's like, yeah, I made that from friggin' scratch. That was like well, not from scratch, like he modified an existing car. But and he also did. I was surprised to find out this thing was even a thing. In the mid-60s, he made Alvin's Acorn car.
Oh my god!
Which is obviously from Alvin and the Chipmunks, and apparently they're just made for, like, I guess it was for, like, PDAs about child safety on the road or something. They made like a car in the shape of an acorn. Apparently this guy built this from scratch himself. And there's, like, all these black and white photos of creepy ass guys in, like, Alvin and the Chipmunks outfits, like these big giant paper mache heads.
Oh,
and then,
this sounds perfect. We need to post a picture of this.
Yeah, and it's like the long jumpers, but it's just like these rake thin guys with these things that just like they've got cloaks on or something with these big huge heads, and they're just like, it just looks terrifying. Like, if you were a kid and you saw these things coming at you, you would run a mile. but yeah, so he did that, and made the Black Beauty for the Green Hornet show. Oh. Worked, of course, on the Munsters, yeah, as I mentioned, and he also made a thing called the Car Goyle, with a K, of course.
Of course, naturally.
Yeah, but it's a really awesome looking kind of goth car that he's just, I don't know what it was for, but he was very proud of it anyway.
We need to buy a replica of it for former guest Ash Lerczak.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if Ash was already aware of the Car Goyle at this point.
Or you say Car Goyle, or is it a grotesque? Oh, last season reference.
Yep. This guy would be like, no, it specifically was draining water away. That's why it was a gargoyle.
All right. Did you see who made, like, a bunch of the vehicles that aren't the Batmobile?
No.
Because there was a company, it was J. Orberg Star Cars.
Oh, yeah, we've talked about J. Orberg.
Yeah, we have, haven't we? Yeah. So I didn't know if you remembered. But they're now called... I'll just... A little brief refresher here, because I didn't realize how many cars they did. Maybe I've forgotten. Now, they've rebranded slightly. They're J. Orberg's Hollywood Cars. Ooh. No idea why the hell you'd change from one to the other, but there you go. The dude still has the Duckmobile.
Yep.
Still.
Oh, you should do. You don't check out that.
But you think you'd sell these things? No, he doesn't. He's also got cars from Mad Max, Back to the Future, and Ghostbusters.
Oh, nice.
This guy is just a hero.
Yeah, I'd have a hard time partying with any of those cars, honestly. I'm not even a car person, but if I had, like, the Duckmobile and, like, Mad Max's car just knocking about, I'd be like, oh Christ, no! I could be going bankrupt. It's like, I'm not selling them. No goddamn way. If I don't have that Duckmobile, I'm nothing. All right.
I don't drive, and I'm not interested in cars either. But if I could have a DeLorean, I would learn to drive. And I've looked into it genuinely. They're not that pricey for an old car like that. And the parts aren't that expensive to get because it takes a lot of, like, generic sort of stock Ford parts, I think. I don't know a lot about cars, so I'm sure someone will correct me there. So I was genuinely considering it for a bit. I was like, yeah, I could.
Yeah.
I did see someone once here in England in a DeLorean going to Sainsbury's to get their shopping, which was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
There's got to be people who had them back when they came out who are like, it was still clung on to them. It was like, why would I? It was the greatest car ever. Why would I give it up? Oh, I'm not buying a new one. You know how expensive cars are?
Apparently they had a penchant for braking.
Yeah. I know they
would break down a lot.
There's actually, at the minute, there's several films coming out about John DeLorean. Like, apparently they've been trying to make a movie about the guy's life, because he's a fascinating character, the guy, John DeLorean, who made the DeLorean.
Multiple films?
Yeah, that's the thing. Apparently they were making so many attempts to get a film made, like, throughout the 90s and whatnot, and none of them came to pass. And then there's been some kind of weird bottleneck thing, where, much like, you know, the old English phrase is like, oh, you wait all day for a bus and then 3 show up at once. It's like, yeah, there's like at least 3 or 4 movies, like either acted drama movies. I think Alec Baldwin's playing him in one.
Oh, okay.
And then there's like several documentaries coming, just all about like, it'll be different aspects, because some might be more focused on the car, and other ones might be more like, this guy had dealings with, you know, drug dealers in Northern Ireland, and that's why the company ended up going under, because he was drastic amounts of debt. So he decided to help import like 100 million kilos of cocaine or something like that.
As you do. That's what funds this show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. Like, that's what we've been. That's the Northern Irish way. That's how brought that over, learning the lessons of John DeLorean. Because he didn't get sent down for it. He got off. So.
Well, when you're that big and rich and famous, there's often ways to get out of these things.
I know. Like, anytime I've ever seen him, he always has this attitude, like, or the people for DeLorean is like, hey, the DeLorean story ain't over yet. It's like, we're coming back, baby. It's like, yeah, you've been coming back for the last, like, 25 years. But,
yeah, I'm sure it was a couple of years ago they said they were relaunching the car, but I don't recall that happening.
Yeah, this reason people wanted those Back to the Future 2 sneakers more than they actually wanted a DeLorean. It was like, oh, those sneakers, you can buy them for like $50 or something, but the DeLorean is going to cost you like a couple of $1,000.
Oh no, you should have seen how much those sneakers went for in the end. It ended up being absurd.
No,
because you had to buy them in like auctions on eBay. The proper ones that actually lace themselves, you know. Now, granted, I'll cut them some slack. The money was being donated to Michael J. Fox's foundation, you know, for like people with the same condition. But at the same, it ended up being thousands. It was some insane amount of money. And to be honest, it's the same with those bloody alien shoes they brought out.
Oh, yeah.
They did Ripley's Reeboks. But they ended up being stupid money. I tried to get them. Yeah. Oh, and the worst thing about them, when they were announced, they originally were announced, and there were no ladies' sizes. They're Ripley shoes.
Yeah, it's like the bitter irony there. Like, that's not as if a woman's going to want to wear a woman's shoe.
Exactly. In the end, I think they had to cave, and they did make them in women's sizes.
That's crazy.
It's insane.
But yeah, I can't remember how we got on that tangent.
No, that's this podcast in a nutshell.
What
have I got here? I've got I found this interesting. Old zoo miniature effects by Stetson Visual Services.
Ooh.
Now, that's very specific. Like, let's get some different team in to do the old zoo.
I guess you just have to get the people you got in, unless maybe they were busy, or maybe they're just like, it's just not good enough. We're going to have to bring in outside people, I guess.
Maybe. I mean, these guys did work on a lot of movies that required this kind of stuff. So they must have just been the experts in the field, I think, because they were on Total Recall, Gremlins 2, shout out to Mogwai Minute.
Oh,
yeah. And Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
Oh, nice.
Which, right, when I was young, I really liked that one. I'm sure compared to the original, now it's probably terrible.
No.
I don't know. Maybe it holds up. I haven't seen it since I was 10.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, like the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids ain't all that hot either. Quite frankly, like
no, it's a classic in my mind.
It's just like it's an okay movie, but it's like it's nothing. I was weirdly more fond of the TV show, like because that was exploring kind of everything else is like, okay, so we've done it. Yeah, it shrinks the kids down. But what we just had like a sitcom about a wacky inventor. And I was like, yeah, you get a lot of that actually. You know, I remember the show had been pretty good, and I remember like I'll still recognize the kids from it when they pop up and stuff. I couldn't recognize the kids from the films now, except for I think in one of the straight to video ones, Allison Mack was like one of the daughters or something.
Yes,
and it's like, oh, of course, Allison's cult co-head, Allison Mack.
I don't want to say too much in case legal teams descend on my house, but yes. Well, I was going to say, do you think that it should be remade then, like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? But I would also be worried that it would... I say worried, it would also be great that they would cast The Rock in Rick Moranis' place.
Well, that's the thing, like, I think in recent weeks they've said there's at least a sequel coming. There's like there was some talk of like, it'll be one of those bullshit sequels. It's actually a soft remake, basically.
Yeah, like every other thing these days. Yeah.
It'll be like Ed Helms is playing, Wayne Zielinski's son from the first movie.
That's probably going to happen.
Well, he's an inventor now too. And then they might, if they like deliver a truckload of gold bullion to his house, Rick Moranis might pop in and be like, hey, that's me, the OG guy. You ain't seen me in 30 years, but here I am.
Well, there was talk of Rick Moranis making a bit of a comeback lately. He did bring out a year or two ago, I think, an album. A music album. And
was he like a singer, or was he like a pianist, or what's his thing?
I didn't listen to it. I think he's a singer.
Yeah.
I think. Don't quote me. Go check it out.
Him now, like crooning, like "Honey, I Shrunk the Kids."
Oh my god! All the songs should be about his movies.
He's just doing covers of Ghostbusters and stuff.
Rick Moranis' version of Ghostbusters. Yes.
The thing is, like, it couldn't possibly be that, because if Rick Moranis did a cover of the Ghostbusters theme, that would have been the biggest thing on the internet that week, probably that year, quite frankly.
Oh my god! Absolutely. That's all you need to do these days. Anyway, look at Weezer. All they did was the whole bloody covers album.
But I'm pretty sure they probably. I imagine they're probably leaning on him quite heavily for this Jason Reitman.
Yeah,
Ghostbusters, because I
think that might be it. He might come back for that.
I'm just wondering what it's happened though, because it took so long to get a Ghostbusters 3 made, and it just could not happen. And then they did that. The Paul Feig, movie, and not to get into all the friggin' controversy around it and stuff, but like at the end of the day, I'm hoping we're getting to a point where everyone can just agree that it wasn't good. Like it wasn't, personal politics and whatnot aside, and like I had no problem with them casting all female characters.
No, it was all a good cast.
Yeah, the cast was fine. It was just that it just wasn't a very good movie. But seeing in the aftermath of that, though, they seem to have been able to zip into this new one with like, it's just like, yeah, Bill Murray's just back on board, just like, yep, of course I'll be in it. It's like, you couldn't get that guy to do anything for like 20 years.
Maybe
and now he's like, I just can't wait to get in this thing.
Maybe he hated the new one himself and was like, I can't have another one of those out there tarnishing my name. I need to do it.
I remember at the time in the cinema, you see him, he shows up in some weird outfits in it.
Yeah.
I was 99.9% certain Bill Murray just showed up in those. And he's like, you want me in this thing? I'm wearing whatever I want. And you're just going to have to deal with it. And he's just like, I'm going to be sitting down. I think the entire movie, he's sitting down. Like, I think he might walk into a room and then instantly take a seat. But I remember him sitting down a lot. As if they were like, he was just like, I'm not standing up for you people. Like, I'm coming in, I'm sitting down, and that's it.
It's great. I love it. His cameo is the only one I didn't mind. Actually, no, tell a lie. I like Sigourney Weaver's.
No, actually, Sigourney Weaver's is the one I actually had the most kind of beef with. Because
really? Oh, I liked it.
It was just because one of the best things in it was Kate McKinnon's character.
Yeah.
And then it seemed to be at the end, the implication was like all the weird quirks and stuff that this bizarre character had were just her copying her mentor. And it was a bit like, I don't like that. Like, I just like,
does that make her less cool to you then?
Yeah, that just makes it seem like, she just ripped off everything from this older person. Like, it's just like, so when you thought like this was like a unique individual you're watching, it turns out like, no, every little tick apparently was swiped from someone else. I remember one of the only laughs I had in the whole movie was Ernie Hudson's cameo, because I think he's coming looking for his car from Leslie Jones. And he's just
Yeah,
like,
he's like the uncle or whatever who gave her the car.
Yeah, and he just shows up looking like Ernie Hudson from 1989. Where you're like, it's literally as if like the same, like he's not aged a day. Like he just walked back in. But it's like, yeah, he's just going like, oh, Patty, like what the hell happened to my car? And she's just like, I'm sorry, it's on the other side because it was sucked into like a portal or whatever. And he's just like, what, in Brooklyn? And I was like, that was one of the biggest laughs I had in the movie. It was like, oh, that was pretty funny.
We can both agree though that Dan Aykroyd's cameo was the worst thing on the planet.
Oh God, yeah. Annie Potts' was all right though, because it was a real like it was a bit of a kind of like you know who it is, like
yeah.
And she had the same. She was basically playing Janine, but it wasn't Janine. But
I don't know if we've said this on the show before, but I actually would have been more interested in a second movie with those characters. I think that would have gone. It could have had more potential. So I would have liked one more at least.
I'm fairly certain, like what will end up occurring, because they've done it in comics already. Is that if this one with the OG Ghostbusters is successful, what they'll probably end up doing is in the follow-up to that, they'll have a multiverse thing.
Yeah.
And they'll get in, probably not Melissa McCarthy or Kristen Wiig, because they're probably like just too big and they're just out of it. But I can imagine they're like, wait, what do you know? Kate McKinnon's been sucked into this version of New York, and she's like the new Egon or something.
That would be cool.
Yeah, be her bouncing off Venkman. It's kind of like, hey, it's best of both worlds, I guess. But
it might as well.
Yeah, I mean, it couldn't hurt. Like, if you could
we're
just
already
spend, like,
missing Egon, my favorite bloody character.
Yeah. But anyway, this isn't. There already was a Ghostbusters minute, so I guess it's not our remit. Although I do remember when Brady was on from Ghostbusters minute, one of our first things was just like, Brady, what do you think of this new Ghostbusters movie?
We had to ask him.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus, we had to.
And thankfully too, because I think he had not podcasted in a while. He was more than happy, like, oh, let me tell you what I thought of that thing.
Oh, I don't really have many other notes here. We hit the main credits, and we've been through most of these in quite big depth. But if you've got any specific little things you've forgotten, feel free to go ahead.
No, not really. I just had a thing from there's a fella who worked on it called James Belkin. And one of his credits was for the movie Clifford, which is
the dog.
No, that's what in your head. That where it goes. Fair enough, but Clifford was a thing. I remember discovering it as the worst poster I've ever seen.
Oh, God.
Where it's I think the pitch is it's like a mid-90s comedy where Martin Short is playing like a 10-year-old.
I hate it already.
Yeah, but it's Martin Short. He's about 45 in it. And it's like Charles Grodin has to look after him. I think you probably, because I posted this poster on Facebook, and there was a whole big, I think Sean German and stuff was talking about it.
Oh, wait. This sounds familiar now.
Yeah, literally just Google Clifford Martin Short, and it'll be like, whatever poster you find, you'll know it, because you'll see like, holy crap, that looks awful. Okay. And it's like, yeah, Charles Grodin's doing the old like exasperating grabbing his head thing, but it's blatantly some random photo of Charles Grodin. And then not even tried to sync it up with the body. It's just like... And then Martin Short's face looks like it's kind of like... It's just out of sync with the way that his head's turned and stuff. It's just... It looks terrible.
Maybe they hated each other and just couldn't get them to do a photo shoot.
But and then I looked into like, oh, what was Clifford? And that blatantly was the... because that was the pitch. It's like, oh, Martin Short. Everyone loves Martin Short, right? He's playing like an annoying brat 10-year-old. So we get to have this fully grown man. And you see even in the trailer, they'll show you it's like, well, they made the effort to make him look dead short. And then other shots where he's made him look dead Martin Short. No. But then like in other shots, he's like blatantly the same height as Charles Grodin. They've not even tried. But I did look it up, and it said like in the Wikipedia, it says, the film is critically panned. It currently holds a 10% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. And then Roger Ebert gave the film half a star out of a possible 4 and wrote, "The movie is so odd, it's almost worth seeing just because we'll never see anything like it again, or I hope."
Well, I want to see it now.
Yeah, because it does note at the bottom, despite the broader negative reception, it has now gained reputation as a cult classic. So you get people watch crap though. A lot of people out there are really into really terrible movies. So
us, that's what we do. And this isn't just us with National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation again, is it? Right? I hate Martin Short.
I hate Martin Short too.
Thank God. I assumed everyone hated Martin Short. I think I've only liked him. Well, I didn't even like him. I liked the movie in spite of him when I was young, Three Amigos. Now, it's probably not good now. I don't know.
I only really remember him in Inner Space, and he was bearable in that. But I remember, like, he has a guest spot in Arrested Development back when Arrested Development was really good.
Yeah. And
he was terrible in it. And I just remember, like, I just always had it. I was like, Martin Short, he's just like this real... Like, it's like some of the time when Jim Carrey is let off the leash, where you're just he's just gurning it up, and everyone just thinks this guy's really funny, so just throwing money at him to make whatever, and it's like, no, he's not that. I think he's maybe now, like, much like friggin' Pauly Shore, you never know, like, Martin Short could make a big comeback with, like, a big, serious, dramatic role, and it'll be like, oh, Martin Short's, like, a really good actor, it turns out, but, I feel bad, though, because I know, like, the Mogwai Minute guys, actually, like Neil and George, because Joe Dante directed Inner Space, they're big fans of that, so we might get Neil Brown coming back on, like, what the hell you mean you don't like Martin Short?
I hope he hates Martin Short. I can't fathom a world where he's popular.
You lived in it, John. It was called the early 90s.
I think I blanked it out.
You never know. Like, that was the deal with Ray Romano. Like, remember, like, it was like, oh, everyone loves Raymond, and then it just disappeared, and now he's back, like, he did Vinyl.
Yeah, he's good in Vinyl.
Yeah, and The Big Sick, and he was great in that. It's like, it's like Ray Romano's actually a really good actor. But, you just had to get them for, like, so maybe we're on the verge of the Shore and Short renaissance.
And Ray Romano's can be the Renaissance.
Yeah. But
dad jokes, that's what you come here for, even though neither of us are fathers.
And even though I said, even at the end of recording in the last episode, I'll try to keep these finishing episodes short.
Oh, crap. Yeah.
We're at over 45 minutes already.
Let's wrap this one up.
Yeah, let's go.
Right. So what do you recommend people, what's your plug? What should they look at?
I'll recommend, I know a lot of people have already, but I believe it's all available now as the TV version of What We Do in the Shadows, which is
yes,
it's the sitcom all about vampires. If you've seen the movie, you know what it is, and it's just, you could not get a more perfect TV translation of that concept into a TV show. It's like, it's everything you'd want. And even the original, it doesn't star the OG characters from the original film, but they do show up in it at one point. So it's just great. There's everything about it. It's just like, it's really well done. So if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend that.
Yeah, and I actually think it not being the original characters is its strength.
Oh yeah,
because it's it's a different cast. You don't want to compare people and whatnot, and they mix it up a lot. It's in a completely different country, for God's sake. So it's fantastic. Yeah, that definitely recommended. I'm gonna plug. I started reading a comic book called Little Bird, which I saw was very highly recommended by a lot of websites. So I've checked out the first 2 issues, and it's bloody great. It's weird and twisted and bizarre, and you can't fathom what the hell's going on in a great way. It's like a post-apocalyptic, well, not post-apocalyptic, I'm not sure, I think sort of a dystopian future where society sort of cracked down, and the government are harassing this sort of group of freedom fighters in Canada who are like native Canadian peoples. And it's got a lot about sort of oppression of people and things like that, but with hyper violence, which you'd like, Niall. But there's a fight scene where someone just gets split in half with an axe, which is just horrific. But it's weird, this bizarre, like the government have been making strange experiments, and there's weird monsters living in tanks just floating in the background of scenes, and you're like, what the hell is going on? It's weird, and the art's all washed out. It looks fantastic as well. It's great. I'd recommend people check that out.
Yeah, I feel that we have to make this like a standard thing. Like every next season is like, oh, I guess we're doing recommendations at the end of the show now.
But maybe on a Friday.
like our shows, they run long enough. Like, let's not add on things.
Sod it.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm not even going to plug the social media. You can find it yourself.
But
Screw you.
Yeah. Well, I guess join us next time for the end of Batman Returns.
The end is here.
That's it, baby. Finale time.
Whoop. See you then.
Next time, the end of an era. A Batman cast returns to make its curtain call as a Carnivalesque creator's universe ends its final crawl. But as the Burton Bat glides into the inky abyss, will our mindful MCs meditate over any minutia they have missed? Find out Friday. Same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute.